for our health. What about apple cider vinegar, which is slightly acidic? Why are they helping us? And here's the answer. You normally are supposed to drink them on an empty stomach, 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 30 minutes before meal, depending on who you're listening to. They get into your body and they're slightly acidic. But they're not supposed to stay in your stomach because there's nothing in them. No food, just water and a little bit of acidic liquid. It goes right through your stomach and comes out. The stomach acid never has a chance to build up. It never goes down to 1 to 3.5 on the pH scale, as stomach acid normally would with food to digest protein. Here there's no protein. It goes right through the stomach. The pancreas gets a hormonal message from a special hormone that is connected to the exit from the stomach. The hormone is telling the pancreas something is coming out of the stomach and it has a little acidity to it. The pancreas is fooled. You think, wow, the person must have just eaten a meal and it's going to be 1.5 on the pH scale, very acidic. The pancreas immediately secretes large amount of alkaline juices, bicarbonates, just the same as the bicarbonates we talked about earlier. Those bicarbonates are secreted in large amounts at a pH of 8 to 8.3, but there's almost no acid coming out of the stomach. That acid immediately gets neutralized, but we have a lot more of the pancreatic juices, so we are absorbing all that bicarbonate, similar to drinking baking soda. And we become temporarily alkaline. If we do it every day, it gives us some benefit, a little bit, but you cannot rely on it by itself. It would make you feel better, but I always tell people in my lectures, what makes you feel better today is not necessarily good for you. There are many things that makes you feel better right now. Drink your alcohol when you go through delirium tremor, and it will make you feel better. Eat your chocolate when you go through withdrawals, and you will feel better right away. It doesn't mean that it's good for you in the long run. We have to always be cautious about that. I'm in favor of doing the lemon juice because of other reasons. It reduces the chance for kidney stones, etc., because it simply reduces the acids coming out of the urine, so it makes the kidneys a little relieved. Nothing wrong with that. But don't lose the focus from the main thing. You can do all those little cosmetic things to improve the acid-base balance in that specific moment. But in the long run, you have to address what's happening in the tissues and what the causes are for the balance shift in your pH. When you do that, change what we talked about and really detoxify, and I do recommend the 90-day detoxification program. When you do that and remineralize and get the best water purification system, whether it's causing ionization and alkalinity or whether it's just purity plus added minerals, your choice. As long as you do all of those things, you will have the power to improve your own pH, but also reduce inflammation, reduce infectious agents, reduce stress, reduce free radical damage, reduce heavy metal activity and poisoning, improved energy, improved oxygenation, reduce risk for cardiovascular disease, for diabetes, for cancer, for fatigue syndromes of various types and sources, and other deficiency and toxicity related diseases. And then the pH is basically one component out of a family of components of our health that should all be paid attention to without worry. You just have to trust that your body will give you what you are asking of it when you give it something yourself, when you're not abusing it like we are accustomed to doing. When we go through a transition in a relaxed way, without concern, our body will do what it wants us to do. Sorry, our body will do what we want it to do. Maybe vice versa too. As long as we give it some respect. Honor it. Honor our physiology. You know now a lot more than most doctors about the pH, by the way. You know more than almost everybody in the world about pH right now. Use it. Disseminate the information. Tell people about this lecture. It will be on a video available online. Find out how to get it and how to get other information that we have available in our CDs and DVDs. Some of it is free. Some of it supports our nonprofit activities. If you want to see me for any specific concerns that are unique to you, that can be arranged. If you want to have me look at your skin lesions, that can also be arranged. There are many ways to make yourself feel better. Why not feel better? It is that simple. No matter how complex it sounds, we can all do it step by step, one thing after another, and have a far more fruitful and productive life, not just longer, but higher quality. And we can then also serve other people better through whatever it is you want to have a purpose in your life for. You can educate other people more effectively. And let us stop with the mythology. I really appreciate you being here and lasting that long with all this lengthy discussion. I even didn't tell nearly as many jokes as normally. So I apologize for that. It's a very serious topic. And if you have a few questions, I will take them right now. But before that, I want to again thank you and wish for you the healthiest life that you can have. Again, thank you. Yes?
What do you use to remineralize your water? And if is it dangerous to drink empty water that you know everything's been removed from it?
Water that has no minerals whatsoever is not a good idea. It's okay a few times in a pinch when you're really thirsty, but you're losing your opportunity to get minerals in.
So you can't get your minerals from your food?
You can get some minerals, but they are often competing for absorption, and they don't always occur in the right blend. In vegetables and fruits, you have the best organic complexes of minerals that your body can utilize, but it's often depleted. I mineralize the water with constant trace elements, which give a lot of sodium reduced or sodium removed trace elements. But there are some water purification devices that increase the magnesium carbonate content of water, and those would be really, really good. Yes?
What about supplements and calcium, magnesium supplements?
Yes, calcium, magnesium, potassium can all occur in supplements, and I often do recommend them. But it depends on the individual. Some people can't afford them. Some people don't believe in taking supplements. I do believe people should take some supplements because of depletion of our environment and increased need and increased pollutants. But it's not for everybody because the compliance is not 100%. But yes, I do recommend some, especially magnesium, because that's very deficient. And usually I recommend a form of chelated magnesium called magnesium glycinate. Yes?
Do you recommend fasting or cleansing of the organs?
Fasting or cleansing, it really is not related directly to pH, with the exception that when you don't eat, you don't form acid because you have no macronutrients to burn. But when you don't form acid and you also don't get nutrients in, you end up at the same place. Because remember, you need the nutrients. The tissue acid will remain. You didn't make new acid, but you had no minerals either. And you had no antioxidant. You will feel better temporarily, but you can never detoxify without the nutrients necessary for detoxification. And this is what you will learn in the 90-day detoxification program. We will have one on Sunday in Orange County in Huntington Beach. And in July, we will have a detoxification program, a 6-hour seminar here in San Diego if we have enough interested people. Yes.
She asked about the mineralizing the water. You said a mineral concentrate. Perhaps you'd share the manufacturer of that and the potentized essential oil that you carry in your
Yeah.
pocket.
The Concentrace element is the actual brand name. Concentrace
Okay.
is a brand name, and you can look it up online. That's easy enough to find. It's very common and popular. We also sell it at the Ecopolitan, but you don't have to buy it at the Ecopolitan. You can buy it anywhere you want. Okay? The scientifically validated fractionated oils are my formulation, I have to humbly say, and it is the first of its kind. It took a long time to figure out how to do what it's doing. But I'm doing it with the help of a wonderful couple from Minneapolis and Australia, where it's being manufactured. The oils and the fractionated active components are distilled in a very organic, beyond organic facility in Australia, where all of it is grown and manufactured by the same company. So there are no other companies that you don't know about. You have complete responsibility, and it's called Plant Extracts International, Inc. That's the name of the company. Plant Extracts International. And if you want to get the whole kit from them, and you just look on their website and learn about it, but if you want to get the kit, just say that you want Dr. T's packet, because the packet will include exactly these 3, plus the 3 tiny bottles of oil that you can drop inside to refill them. So it's very ecological. You don't ever have to replace these. One would last 3 months, and then you just have to open it very easily. Now it's open, and there is a little wicker in there, and you just drop a few drops from the bottle, and you have another 3 months. And it lasts a long, long time in the bottle because you barely use much. The kit also has an ultrasonic diffuser if you want to diffuse the same oil into the air while you're asleep. So that's also included in the initial packet. But it's up to you if you want the ultrasonic diffuser, if you just want those in your pocket. Okay, that's the Plant Extracts International. I don't have their number in my head. If you cannot find it, you can just email my assistant at clinic@ecopolitan.com.
Just spell that, please.
Clinic at Ecopolitan. Ecopolitan is listed on your flyers, ecopolitan.com. Please read the flyer and you'll know more about it. But the clinic at ecopolitan.com goes directly to my clinical assistant, and then she can give you the phone number and email for Plant Extract International. Yes?
What if you're interested in the 90-day program, but they're not going to be available to attend?
If you're not available this coming Sunday in Huntington Beach, or this coming July in San Diego, then sooner or later we will get the whole 6-hour seminar with the entire information booklet available online individually. You'll have to wait a little bit. It will be available.
I think it's sooner or later.
I'm hoping that before the end of this summer.
Oh, good.
Question over here.
Is there a formula for the amount of protein that you need?
Ask nature that question. This is the kind of question that people ask nutritionists, which force nutritionists to feel importance that they don't deserve to have. Because we can create all type of formulas, but each person is different. You have a different medical history. Medical drugs are some of the worst acid causers in the world. I don't know what you have done in the last 10 years. I don't know if you smoked, if you were drinking, if you did street drugs. I don't know how your mother treated you when you were in her uterus. Each person is different. I don't know your genetics. I didn't test you. What type of responsibility would I be having to give you a formula that you will be very devout about following because you happen to trust me, when a formula like that would be meaningless, perhaps to you, maybe more meaningful to someone else. The important thing is the overall amount on average that a 70 kilogram man is actually needing, and there have been studies that's in the Guyton textbook of medical physiology, and you can see that most humans in that frame, without additional stress or additional breakdown, depending on activity, exercise, etc., would probably be needing to replenish. And that's about 25 grams. Some of it might be replenished just from your own cells, from your own gut, that are continuously being sloughed away and their amino acid being recycled. There are other places where we can recycle our own amino acids. Maybe it's 30 grams in your case. Maybe it's 40 grams. But I bet that you're right now eating 120 grams a day. Just go down to 40, I dare you. Most people who are strict vegans have more than 70 grams of protein per day. The hardest thing when you eat wholesome food is to not have excess of protein. That is why we're so acidic. The only way to avoid excess, almost, in our society is to eat nothing but white flour and white sugar. And I don't recommend that, of course. So rely mostly on plant-based foods because at least the content of amino acid and definitely the content of protein is drastically reduced, and you're getting all the micronutrients that help you neutralize acidity without getting the excess protein that has nothing to neutralize it coming with it. Yes?
What does 40 grams of plant protein look like?
It's a beautiful view. It is basically, think of 1 cup of kale containing 5 grams of amino acids. 1 cup.
Compact or just loose?
Loose.
Loose.
Yes. If you have nuts and seeds, 1 cup can easily have 15 grams or 20 grams. It's not very difficult to get to 40. In nature, you would be eating a lot more greens, a lot more leaves, fruit, flowers, and if you would eat them enough to get the caloric needs met, you probably would have 40 or 50 grams, even then, of amino acids per day. Yes?
Okay, so are you going to be supplying that oil, the Clary Sage oil on your website? And
I personally will not be supplying it, but in every city there are people who will know about it, and I recommend to stay in touch with Caroline Andrews, the coordinator here in San Diego, because she'll be the first to know as soon as it is available.
And what's your take on colonics, and how do you approach hypothyroidism?
My take on colonics is they are an interesting procedure. They can be fun and they can be not fun. Depends on who we are. And they can do good in a few cases, and they could be unnecessary and superfluous in other cases. I can get into greater detail, but it all depends on who you are. I'm sorry, but no simple answers without getting into great details. Hypothyroidism or thyroid condition, always look for the cause. If there is thyroid inflammation, it could lead initially to hyper, then to hypothyroidism. It depends when you catch it. If you catch it early, it might be hyper. Catch it late, it will be hypo because of overall dysfunction of productivity in the gland. If you catch it early or late, you still need to find what caused it to be inflamed or attacked by your immune system in the first place. Oftentimes it's gluten. Sometimes it's dairy. You have to start investigating the causes instead of immediately think, my hormones are imbalanced, therefore I need to supply hormones. Then you end up on crutches for the rest of your life. A lot of doctors, even holistic ones, immediately put their patients on hormones. And for the rest of the patient's lives, they are attached to that practitioner to come back for represcription every few months. It's perfect for a stable practice. But you never get rid of the drug because you're always putting something in your body, telling your own body to manufacture less of the same. And you don't know what is truth anymore and what is a lie. What's the reality of your body? It's continuously being masked by an artificially induced level of a hormone that you should be producing yourself. That's my take in a nutshell. In response to the pH level, obviously the more your thyroid level is increased, the more acid you're building because you're revving up your metabolism and burning more macronutrients. So that affects your pH. If you have hypothyroidism, you have reduced activity, but you also have reduced utilization and reduced oxygen and other problems that might result with sluggishness and increased acidity as well. So either hyper or hypothyroidism could increase your tissue acidity. Yes?
Is it necessary to drink water if a person drinks a lot of fruit and vegetable juices?
In my personal opinion, because there's not enough science on that, and from my experience, clinically and personally, I think that people are overdoing the water thing. There is no rule that is not man-made in that case. People who eat lots of fruits and vegetables usually have enough water. Don't forget they manufacture the water from burning the carbohydrates and fats anyway. But if you dehydrate yourself by being in the sun a lot or in dry environment or in the winter when your windows are shut, insulated, you have a heating device in the house, you talk a lot in a lecture, you exercise and sweat too much, there are situations where you need more water to replenish the potential dehydration. But generally, you don't need a lot of water. I believe that you should listen to your body, and in that case, if you feel thirsty, you drink enough water. If you don't feel thirsty at all, look at the urine to see how diluted it is. If you have enough whiteness of the urine stream, you're probably not too dehydrated, you're not concentrating it too much. Pay attention to how you feel and what you eat. If you eat lots of dehydrated foods or food that are excessively packaged and processed that have no water, all the water taken out of them, you might need more water to compensate. If you eat truly natural, raw, fresh, plant-based food, you will rarely ever be thirsty, unless you're in the sun a lot and getting a lot of water out of your system. Then you'll drink once in a while, but not 8 glasses a day.
I don't
Or
even
10.
drink a glass a day. And I've been doing that for years.
A lot of people who eat a lot of fresh foods don't feel the need and they don't drink water, and they're fine. They make their own water.
Thank you.
But I cannot say that for everybody because I have responsibility for a crowd.
Exactly.
One person is one person's example. Everybody needs to know their lifestyle, their activity, and act wisely and think for yourself. Don't ask for rules that might not apply to you. Yes?
How do you feel about sprouts as a good source of plant protein or amino acids? Any specific sprouts you like more than others?
Let's rephrase the question,
Okay.
because I don't like questions that start with a source of protein, which indicates that we have been brainwashed still, no matter what I've told you today, to think that we need to look for more sources of protein. Remember, it's the hardest thing to avoid excess. Therefore, why are we still following this path? Because for so many years we were told to buy products that are high in protein. Even people in the healthiest movement of food in the world, even they are continuously buying things that are high in protein because it's a marketing gimmick. We have to stray away from that. If sprouts are good, it's not because of protein. If protein is high, that would be a bad thing about sprouts. And we should look for other foods. If we eat sprouts, it's not because of protein, but it's because the overall nutrient level is less starchy, less macronutrients and more micronutrients than the seed from which it comes, because some of the macronutrients have been used up for the germination process. Don't ask about the protein because we don't want to worry about more sources of it, even though, yes, there are some. So what? In every green leafy vegetable, there are proteins. So why do we obsess about sprouting? Because we are in the raw food movement, some of us. And we feel like we must sprout or else.
So then should sprouts be avoided, or?
Oh, no, sprouts are fine, but don't worry about it. Don't think about it. When I see a giraffe asking me if the sprout has enough protein in it, then I will start worrying. Yeah, no animals in nature ever think about it. They don't worry about it. Why do we worry about it? Why do we obsess about our food, and every minute that is available we have to be thinking about food? We have abundance. In nature, we have so much. Please come to Wisconsin in the summer and go foraging with me. I take groups every 2 weeks or so in the summer. For 3 days, we eat nothing but what grows naturally. You see the abundance. And it's in Wisconsin, it's not in the tropics. The first weekend of June, the third weekend of June, look it up on the Ecopolitan website. Stay in touch. Sign up for the newsletter. Come foraging, and you'll see how when the abundance of nature is surrounding you, you don't have to worry about food anymore. You're not detached from it. Yes, food comes from the ground. Yes, we live in cities, in cubicles. We are so detached from the reality from where we came. If you just go back to it a little bit, come to nature, enjoy what she has to offer, and suddenly you're not worried about your food so much because it's there all the time in abundance. Then you don't care about it. You don't think about it. Your relationship with it changes. Don't worry about protein. Do worry about vitamin D. Do worry about B12. Do worry about omega-3. That I recommend to not be worried, but to be active, proactive about. Do what you need and you have no worries. Yes?
Good source of carbohydrates.
Any natural food contains carbohydrates, period.
Thank you.
Any fruit, any leaves, anything that you eat that is from nature, from plant-based, contains carbohydrates. Fiber is carbohydrates too. And listen to the 6 free teleseminars in thetruthaboutyourfood.com covering all of these things. If you don't want to sit in front of the computers, the 3 most important of those teleseminars are available in double CDs on the desk over there. Yes?
With respect to time, we should just only take one more question and as a group, and then close for the evening, and then if you have time, maybe we can answer more questions. Is that okay?
Yes.
with you guys?
Also, if you want to sign up for seeing me tomorrow quickly about your skin, you can do that over there too. So I'll take only 1.5 questions.
The return to nature is good, but a lot of us have toxins. Your thoughts on chelation therapy and food-grade hydrogen peroxide.
That's more than 1 question.
It was 1.5.
That's 1.5.
Basically, I don't want to get into hydrogen peroxide because it's not relevant to the pH, although there's a lot that can be said about it. And the answer will be depends, depends, depends. Hydrogen peroxide depends for whom, for what reason, for what purpose. Sometimes it could be effective. Sometimes it's over-touted, and it doesn't always do what you think it does. And there's a lot of marketing involved, but it does some good things in some cases, depending on how it's done. I told everybody that we need to detoxify, so there's no question there. Even if we go to nature, we still have to return our body to its natural state by detoxifying it. Chelation is only a procedure that is designed to eliminate heavy metals from the body. And I use that for heavy metals specifically, but not as a part of a general detoxification because it's too dangerous. I do it only at the end of the 90-day detoxification, where you can then address heavy metals more safely. So you do it more judiciously. And chelation could be intravenous or it could be oral. You meant the intravenous. I prefer the oral because it's cheaper, it's less dangerous, it causes less problems potentially. It does not demineralize you as intravenous chelation does. You can do it at your own home, and most people are compliant with it, whereas very, very few people can afford and should even engage in the lengthy 30-session EDTA or other chelation protocols that some doctors make a lot of money doing, with potential temporary benefit, but oftentimes with long-term negative effects because they haven't really addressed the underlying changes necessary in their lifestyle. It's a quick fix, but it has some payments on the other end. You end up demineralized. There are other things that you need to do to make it healthy. And that's why I prefer the oral chelation protocols, which are just as effective and are more sustainable. And you can do them for the lengthy time you need to have a safe removal instead of a quick one in small pulses. Last one.
Have you heard of this new product called Pearlsium as a calcium supplement, and how do you feel about it?
I need to know the exact ingredient. Calcium what?
It's got pearl and calcium.
Like pearl, as in calcium
pearl.
carbonate. Pearl usually it's calcium carbonate, just like in coral. So it's calcium carbonate. It's all right if it's dissolved in water. If it comes in a powder or in a tablet, very little bit is absorbed. So it won't be nearly as effective as it should be. If you first dissolve it completely in water and then drink it, that's better. But you will not be able to dissolve very much.
Can you take too much?
I don't. You need to take the other minerals as well. You need to have the magnesium for sure. All right, thanks again, and we'll see you in the near future.